John Stuart Mill's On Liberty, published in 1859, is a foundational text in the development of modern liberal thought. The essay, which is both philosophical and practical, explores the nature and limits of the power that society can legitimately exercise over the individual. Mill's primary concern is to establish the importance of individual liberty and to argue for its essential role in human progress and social improvement. In doing so, Mill addresses issues such as freedom of thought and expression, the limits of authority, and the conditions under which society can intervene in the lives of individuals. The central thesis of On Liberty is the harm principle, which states that the only legitimate reason for society to interfere with an individual's liberty is to prevent harm to others. Mill articulates this principle in the first chapter, laying the groundwork for the subsequent discussions. He argues that self-regarding actions, those that affect only the individual, should be free from external interference. On the other hand, actions that harm others or infringe upon their rights may warrant intervention. This principle aims to balance individual freedom with the need for social order and protection. Mill's advocacy for freedom of thought and expression is one of the most celebrated aspects of On Liberty. He contends that the free exchange of ideas is crucial for the pursuit of truth and the intellectual and moral development of individuals and society. Mill argues that all ideas, even those that are unpopular or offensive, should be allowed to be expressed and debated. He provides several reasons for this position. First, a suppressed opinion may be true, and silencing it deprives society of the opportunity to correct its errors. Second, even if the opinion is false, its contestation against the truth sharpens understanding and prevents true beliefs from becoming dogmatic. Mill's discussion of the tyranny of the majority is another key component of his argument for liberty. He warns that democratic societies are susceptible to a form of tyranny in which the majority imposes its views and preferences on minorities, stifling individual expression and diversity. This tyranny, according to Mill, can be more pervasive and insidious than political despotism because it operates through societal norms and pressures rather than formal laws. Mill emphasizes the need for protections against this form of tyranny, advocating for robust individual rights and legal safeguards to ensure that minority opinions and lifestyles can flourish. In the third chapter, Mill explores the importance of individuality as an element of well-being. He asserts that individuality, or the ability to pursue one's own path and develop one's own character, is essential for personal happiness and societal progress. Mill argues that the cultivation of individuality leads to greater creativity, innovation, and moral development. He criticizes social conformity and the pressure to adhere to conventional norms, which he believes stifle personal growth and the diversity of ideas and ways of life that enrich society. The fourth chapter addresses the limits of authority and the principle of utility, which Mill uses to justify the harm principle. Utility, or the greatest happiness principle, holds that actions are right insofar as they promote happiness and wrong insofar as they produce the opposite. Mill applies this principle to argue that individual liberty should only be restricted to prevent harm to others. He differentiates between actions that are harmful to others and those that are merely self-regarding, emphasizing that society's interest lies in preventing harm rather than in paternalistically protecting individuals from themselves. Mill also discusses the role of education and social institutions in promoting liberty. He argues that a well-educated populace is better equipped to understand and value individual freedoms. Education should encourage critical thinking, self-reliance, and a respect for the rights of others. Additionally, Mill believes that social institutions, including the government, should be structured in ways that support and protect individual liberties. This includes ensuring that laws are just, transparent, and applied equally to all citizens. The final chapter of On Liberty deals with practical applications of the principles discussed in the previous chapters. Mill examines various societal issues, such as the relationship between the individual and the state, the limits of state intervention in economic affairs, and the regulation of personal behavior. He argues that the state should have a limited role, intervening only when necessary to prevent harm to others. This minimal state intervention ensures that individuals have the freedom to pursue their own interests and make their own choices, fostering a dynamic and progressive society. One of the critical strengths of Mill's argument is its nuanced understanding of the complexities of human life and society. He acknowledges that the application of the harm principle is not always straightforward and requires careful consideration of the context and consequences of actions. Mill also recognizes that complete freedom is unattainable and undesirable, as some restrictions are necessary to maintain social order and protect individuals from harm. However, he insists that these restrictions should be minimal and justified by clear, rational criteria. Mill's emphasis on the moral and intellectual development of individuals is another significant aspect of his work. He believes that freedom of thought and expression is not only a means to discover truth, but also a vital component of personal growth and fulfillment. By allowing individuals to explore different perspectives and challenge their beliefs, society encourages a deeper understanding of the world and the development of a more thoughtful and empathetic populace. Critics of Mill's on liberty have raised several objections to his arguments. Some argue that the harm principle is too vague and difficult to apply in practice. Determining what constitutes harm and where to draw the line between self-regarding and other-regarding actions can be contentious and subjective. Others contend that Mill's focus on individual liberty overlooks the importance of community and social cohesion. They argue that a balance must be struck between individual rights and the common good, and that some limitations on liberty may be necessary to maintain a stable and harmonious society. Despite these criticisms, On Liberty remains a seminal work in the history of political philosophy. Mill's defense of individual freedom, his critique of social conformity, and his advocacy for open discourse have had a profound and lasting influence on liberal thought. The principles articulated in On Liberty continue to shape debates about the role of government, the limits of state intervention, and the importance of protecting individual rights in modern democratic societies. Mill's work also has significant implications for contemporary issues such as freedom of speech, censorship, and the regulation of personal behavior. In an age where information is more accessible than ever and diverse viewpoints can be shared widely, the principles of On Liberty provide a valuable framework for navigating the complexities of modern life. The balance between protecting free expression and preventing harm remains a central concern, and Mill's insights offer guidance on how to approach these challenges thoughtfully and responsibly. In conclusion, John Stuart Mill's On Liberty is a foundational text that articulates a compelling vision of individual freedom and its essential role in human flourishing and societal progress. Through the harm principle, Mill provides a clear criterion for determining the legitimate limits of social and state interference in individual lives. His defense of free thought and expression, critique of the tyranny of the majority, and emphasis on individuality and personal development are key contributions to liberal philosophy. While Mill's ideas have faced criticism and debate, their enduring relevance underscores their significance in the ongoing pursuit of a just and free society. On Liberty remains a vital source of insight and inspiration for those committed to the principles of liberty and the protection of individual rights.